Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to talk about one of the minor scale variants called harmonic minor. So the reason we have some variants is partly because the minor scale doesn't have enough musical gravity. And let me see if I can show you what I mean by that. So here is a pure minor scale built on the note A. Now we should know already that there is a relative major scale that is also related to this scale. So the major scale is C major. So C's are here, A's are here. One issue with the minor scale is it's very easy for your ear to sort of reorient towards the major scale. It has more gravity. It has more draw to that C. So it's very easy if I just go up and down this scale a little bit. So right now it sounds kind of minor, but if I keep playing around and I start to sort of hover around C, you'll notice that your ear will kind of reorient and it will sound like C major instead of A minor. It almost right away just feels like C is the most natural ending to this sort of song that I'm writing, right? So part of what causes that is that half step between the last two notes of the scale. So if we're on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B to C is a half step. And that has a really powerful sense of musical gravity pushing your ear into the C. So I'm going to do that scale again, but I'm going to stop on the B. It's kind of dying to go to C, right? That half step is called a leading tone frequently, or that note leading up to the C is called the leading tone. And the problem with minor is it doesn't have one, because a whole step between the last two notes, like this, the G doesn't really push into that A. I'm not dying to hear the resolution of this G note into the A, whereas when I hear the C scale, I'm dying to hear the C after that B. It really pushes, and we refer to that note as a leading tone. And part of the reason that minor doesn't have the same kind of pull or gravity that C major does is because it's lacking a leading tone. So that's where our first variant comes in. We don't have a leading tone, and the leading tone is created by having a half step at the top of the scale that pushes us into that final note, A. So I'm going to raise my G to a G sharp, and then I'm going to go up the scale, and you'll notice it has that push now. Now that A really feels reinforced. Right? That's what we do. We kind of force in a leading tone into the minor scale, and we call that harmonic minor. And how do we do it? We simply raise the seventh scale degree by a half step. So the seventh note of the scale goes up a half step from wherever it was when it was in pure minor. Now this has some other problems it creates, because for instance, from F to G sharp is 3 half steps. We don't typically have scales with that, and so this can also sound kind of exotic. Oops, sorry. So you can kind of hear it has this sort of non-Western sound to it. Sounds pretty cool, actually. You know, it has this like really nice, but it's not used very often in kind of traditional Western music, and that's partly because we have this larger spacing here than we're used to. So we'll have another variant that deals with that effect, so that the scale still has this leading tone, but doesn't also have this more exotic sound. So let's just look at a couple examples of creating some harmonic minor scales. So it's very simple. We just raise the seventh scale degree. So here is a G minor scale. If we know our circle of fifths, we know that 2 flats goes with B flat or G minor. And we have all our notes here. There's no key signature to worry about. And all we need to do is raise this note from whatever it is up a half step. So this is an F. To go F up a half step, we simply put a sharp on it. So G harmonic minor, we start with pure minor and just raise the 7th degree by a half step. Now, it's a little bit different when you have a key signature because you can't see, obviously, where the accidentals live at this moment, right? But we have to kind of remember, oh, B, E, A, and D are flatted in this scale. So this is a pure minor scale on F, and when there's a key signature, we need to reference that before we raise our note, because otherwise we might use the wrong accidental. So to raise an E up a half step, we put a sharp on it, but this is not E. The key signature says every E is flatted, so this is actually E flat. How do we raise an E flat up by a half step? Well, we just put a natural on it. That is what F harmonic minor looks like when we have the key signature for the minor. The key signature ones are a little bit more difficult, and you also notice that harmonic minors, when we start getting a sort of odd mixture of different accidentals. So if you're getting flats and sharps together in a harmonic minor scale, that's okay. You also might get some double sharps and things. And now in this example, another example with a key signature that we're going to have to double check. So I'm going to go up to my 7th note. It's F sharp because the key signature is raising all the Fs to F sharp. And how do I raise F sharp by a half step? I just have to double sharp it. So you will also see double sharps in harmonic minor scales. And that's kind of it for harmonic minor. The real trick is, if there's a key signature, make sure you know what note you're really looking at here at this 7th degree. And otherwise, just raise by a half step. Make sure you know how to do chromatic half steps, right? Using an accidental to go up 1 half step. Never change the note name. Cool, that's about it. Harmonic minor should be easy. Just start with natural minor, raise the 7th degree. All right, see you in the next one.